Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome back, Brandon Media Strategies. All righty, let's get into it. So, session 10, what are we going to work on? Again, as we always do, session 10, do your attendance, learn a little bit something. What does flattening do? What does flattening a design file do? Oh, it merges all the layers into one. Don't do it unless you need to. Yeah, many people, oh, I flattened it. We got the session 10 PDF lectures to look over, and then we'll do Tuesday's assignments. As I started now switching back and forth, I have a graphic design discovery to work on today. I did the every designer needs to know. But let's start out with these. And these are simple, easy. They won't take us long. So let's see if I can just do it download original file. Download original file. All right. Easy peasy. These are ones like my other ones where I'm like really getting into it. I'm like, guys, this is sort of text hierarchy. Is just making sure, and then I got to redo this because this is in reverse. Is just making sure that like the most important thing is the biggest. Then it gets smaller. Then it gets smaller. Then it gets smaller. Then it gets smaller. And it's just like talking. I reviewed this with, remember that class you guys all took? It was GRDS 103, Design Elements and Principles. This has to do with beginning hierarchy, and this is what I'm talking about, is making sure our hierarchy speaks with the typography. What's the biggest thing on the page? Should be the most important thing on the page. And, like as we start with a title, make the title big, make everything else smaller. Like we hide things. It's our way of telling people what we need to see first, what we need to say second, third, like it's establishing that setup. Here, I do this all the time. Big intro to the paragraph, and then you can even break it up. But you have to start thinking about that when you're doing the designs and doing these small designs, doing the big designs, doing our posters. The poster designs that we're working on should work off of typographical hierarchy. We have like 5 sections, 6, 5. I'm forgetting right now, but like each one has a title. So the title should stand out a little bit differently than the lower part of the body copy. Maybe we have that intro paragraph should be bigger than maybe the supporting paragraphs. So you have to think about what's important, what's least important, and set that up. So do not format with a lack of text hierarchy. It's just not everything's the same. When you copy and paste, you're like, oh, I'm gonna copy and paste that stuff over for Joel's project. Let me go back out. Oh, this one doesn't have the text in it. Let's go to 8. 8's got the text in it. So when you copy and paste this and throw this all in at once, like it's not going to work. But I purposely bolded out some section and be like, this should be hierarchy. And then this, join us for this should be like number 1. Like if we're talking in paragraphs, like this should be big in bold, like not in bold, but stand out, be bigger than these. This is the one. Like if anybody reads anything, we want them to read that first. And then these are little extra, like what else is happening on that day. And we do that, we develop that with the text hierarchy. So keep that in mind. And it's something to look at. I know we've just started it. Other instructors, I know Craig was doing it with these video responses. And it's much easier now for me to like maybe point some of those things out. So I will. Boy, oh boy, will I. So keep that in mind. Use that. Always think about it. All right. This one isn't as heavy in our industry as it may be if you're doing some digital work, but it does make sense. And we talked about this in the Every Designer Needs to Know series. This came up, and it was like reading, even though we can read longer lines easier, we prefer reading shorter lines, columns of text. There's like a kind of like a reason why old-timey newspapers were just like really short, and they had columns, you know, like it would be broken out, you know, I don't have enough room. They would like have 4 columns of text kind of on the page, you know, and you read down and then down and then down instead of like all the way across. So there was a reason for that. You know, people just realized, they're like, oh, it's just kind of easier. Even though it's said that we can read the longer line because we're not switching back, it just looks better. It feels better. I feel like it's even like, it seems like we're reading less, if that makes sense. Like if you have like 2 really long lines or like 5 really short lines, you're going to feel like, oh, boom, 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 I got this knocked out. Lickety split. You know, here in this design, you know, you just have the nice heading, you call to action. Shortening this up, it looks like would be better than this. And then here you can have these like nuggets, let's call it, of information, like more than you can have here where you just run these across the page. So that's another one. How can you break it up? This is like gridding and working with grids and sectioning off and thinking like, you know, going back again to this file is like, I did put thought into like, okay, I've got 1, this is the main one, and then I have 5 other sections. How are those going to look in my design? What am I going to do? Where am I going to place those? And it's very important, and it's something I think I want to say I stressed over, but my design choices were affected by the body copy coming in, and how was I going to typeset the body copy. When I was making those blue and orange, and I was like, I had to count in my head and be like, the center one needs to be more significant. I have to make that type bigger. And I thought about all the little parts and pieces, how they fit together, how they work together to get that poster to where I wanted it to be. So one of those is when you're thinking about it, when you're designing, super long lengths of text kind of actually also makes the design process harder. If you can take that and make it into a small little chunk, you know, that's like this rather than like this, you're going to be far better off. I think, you know, sometimes the design, it depends on the design, you know, you get to take it with a grain of salt when I say this stuff, but it just don't make them too long. All right. I told you to be quick on those today. We're coming up on break. All right. Every designer needs to know. Like I said, I did this last time, and you know the rules. OLED typography, no images, 2 typefaces maximum, 3 colors maximum. We all set that out. Here's the reading. I didn't even look at the reading today. I had an interview thing to do. Yeah, well, this is true, isn't it? This is very true. I cannot read and think at the same time. Take a look through. I want somebody to do this one. I want Fitts Law set up really cool. If I took that, that would be hilarious. That'd be awesome. I actually kind of want to do it now. Only in 1 typeface. Ooh, this is, the more uncertain people are, the more they defend their ideas. Oof, that's a tough one. These are getting heady, hey? Well, you know what to do there. You pick a line, you like quickly read through these 7 pages of info, gloss over it, check out, find something cool, and design it using typography, type only. So much fun. I love it when I love the restrictions on. It gets you to think differently, and that's why I do that. I set up restrictions to get you to think differently. I'm feeling like in the future I'm gonna make, and I don't never know how to do this with the students. Like send out a survey. Like you guys don't want to take a survey. I may just do it. Is starting to set more restrictions on these things and being like, A, you can only do this, and B, you can only do this. Right now, I just have a bunch of weird sizes for some reason that they need to fit together. So let's talk about this. Let's do one. All right. So I want to talk about a couple things because not everybody's in every class. And so this is going to be a little bit of repeat, but not a lot of repeat. But I want to also show you some things like the discovery part about designing and using our processes and finding what we need. So I'm thinking about doing something for you students and setting up some kind of workshops. And I was like, how do I want to do it? And I was, I can do it myself. So I was like, oh, do it like some punk aesthetic, like a flyer. And then I was like, oh, David Carson, like what could I do? So I was like, oh, this will be my graphic design discoveries, David Carson. He's the fine artist of graphic designers. Like everybody tries to emulate him. He's really famous. He's like, oh, don't use, I never use Snap 2. Like I kind of wish I could be like that, but he can do it and he does it correctly and he pulls it off. And he's like this, phenomenal designer for that alone. Now, I did this in the history this morning. Haley, sorry. This will take 1 second. If you have a Mac and you download images, which I think is just kind of a standard thing we do all the time. I'm doing it all the time. I make our research things and I'm grabbing an image and downloading, but not everybody can place every kind of image. And so you need to transfer your images. If you have a Mac, great for you. I don't. And so when I design at home, I have to use a PC, but I discovered this, and I think maybe I've told you guys, is if you click on your image and right click on it, quick actions, and convert image, you can convert these to a JPEG like instantly. And then I just throw these away. Like I immediately throw away JPEG. Nope, I want this to be quick actions, convert image, JPEG, convert to JPEG. I don't know where this has been all my life, but this is like a game changer for me because I do so much of this. Quick actions, convert image. So whenever you can learn these things and like always like ask questions, I guess is the big one. Is there a better way to do it? Google it. If you're working on something, it's like, oh, there's a better way to do it. Google it. Is there a better way to do this sort of thing? And it will help you. So work on that. Now I have all my images, as we all know, and the great thing that I've been using lately is I've been dropping stuff into here, into using it into libraries and stuff like that, because then it places everything where you need it when you need it. And I've got this. So I've got my images. I got 6 of them. Let's rearrange one. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's just for me in my mind. Now the other thing is I want to talk about is discovering some of these items. So I went on a search for imagery, and then I was like, I want a font, and I typed in Dave Carson, and I was like, oh no, that doesn't work. And then I put in grunge. I was like, okay, I'm starting to look through these, and I almost clicked on one, or I clicked on one, and I was like, and I did something, and I was like, wait, what? And then I looked down here, and I was like, what are these font packs? Like, I never knew about this. I don't think I ever scrolled down, or maybe I've never seen this before. And I was like, oh, look at this. Somebody came together and was like, oh, we'll make a font pack for you. Maybe this works. And like, oh, now I'm looking at this Battery Park, maybe one. And then here's this other retro one. Is it great? No. I kind of like this. So like I got two that I probably could use. So I could use this. Where is it? View family. Oh, battery park. I almost have to write that down. And then I'll keep these open. And then I want this one. So if I, scroll down, and I know, like, what a way to discover fonts. Let's do that one. Add family, Temple Gothic. So play around. So the other thing then I did, and I've never done this before, I was like, I need a quick background. And I was like, how am I going to create this David Carson background in like just a couple of minutes and blah, blah, blah. And he does all this crazy stuff. I tried it. I tried abstract collage in the style of David Carson into Adobe Stock. And I hit the generative AI only. And it came up with one that I can use. But then I was like, what is this? I'm like, oh, look how cool this looks. And I was like, just by looking up something else, I found out, where'd it go? Where'd the chicken go? There, like this smudge map thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to download that. Like, what makes this different than anything else? Smudge map, gradient map. And I was like, okay, cool. Like just discovering things. I'm going backwards because I don't want to lose this one. Account, I want to use it. What the heck is happening? Oh no, why is it going into a cart? Weird. Well, so I can do that. So like it's discovering these new things, and I want to I wish I could just download it. Now, why is this not letting me just grab that picture? Well, this is another reason not to use AI. The picture that's on the top is now not showing up anywhere. How ridiculous is that? And I run it like, isn't that weird? Is it me? It shows up more than once, and it's not letting me just click on it. Well, then I can't use it, hey? Oh, that sucks. I thought it would be great. Is it like the last page? Let's scroll all the way down. I didn't see it. There's 3 pages. They showed me an image that is not available. Well, that doesn't help my design at all. Oh, I'm at the pivot somehow. All right, well, I'm gonna have to pivot. At least I got my fonts. All right, so let's check things out. I have my document already built. I just didn't include the layers yet. So what do we have? A background. So I'm gonna have to add my background before the end of the week. And then I have my images. And the title. And then I clicked over that title where it should be. Make it big. And then I did do, I closed it out. I have to open it again. So I do David Carson, not hit a return. Now I'm just going to switch some things over. So this is like the beauty of working double screens. Maybe not. Is I want Battery Park as my font for here. So I double click on this. Battery Park. Look at that. Oh yeah, I'm sure I had other students do this with this font. And I'm going to make it big. And then I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to erase part. You can do like some, can't just do it normal. It's David Carson. Like, get the overlap, make it big. Still want it legible there. Maybe that's better. This one just a little bit off. A little emphasis on there. Still staying within my margin, right? Damn, Joel, on those margins. So still staying within that area. And then we got our images. And then again, I put my images into that system. I got to move my libraries because I have my libraries on different sides. And this is discoveries. David Carson. I'm going to hold down Shift, grab all 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got all 6 in there. That makes it easy. And then this thing I do is I'll go to underneath rotate. I'm going to do scale. And I'm going to do it 25%. No, I don't want your turntable idea. Good, good, good. I knew one was going to be tiny. That's fine. Shift. Good. And then this one needs cropping. I have 6. I don't need all 6. And then I did do a setup where I got my information already from Gemini. And I'm just going to copy and paste. All right. I'm going to copy and go back to my layers. And I need body copy. And I'm going to draw a text box. And please keep in mind, I see this happen, is area text and point text. This is area text where it fills a box. This is point text where it's just one word. I just had this discussion with a student and they're like, I want to be able to rotate, but I can't rotate it. Well, you can't rotate this, all right? But that's area text, but you can rotate the point text. And the way you know a difference is if this is filled in or not. If that little dot right there is solid, it's area text. And it's hard to see on this one. It'll be hard to see on this cyan. I was working with the student on the cyan. It's filled in. So that's area text, meaning you're filling an area with text. Point text is just one word, and it's far more, you can manipulate it better. Let's go back to my font, and then this is template Gothic. I'm not giving up. I'm going to do template Gothic. Regular. And then again, what I'm going to do is just going to make this smaller for now. Make sure everything is in there. And this happens a lot too. And I feel like I talk to people a lot that too. It's the if you do free transform tool and you want this paragraph to be bigger and to keep all your typesetting, use the free transform tool. That's how you make it bigger without having to do anything else. And then you can nudge in that font exactly how you want it. I want these broken up. I want 2 different paragraph texts. And I want the images in the middle, and then I will figure out how to add the background. So at least get this started. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, I'll kind of go over, even though I'll go over on Thursday, I'm going to go over the bigger projects we have going on. So like we do this, we do this, we set that one over there, and then we get our images. And I want to find that background. So this one, I need to crop it, right? Let me do this. This is like the first cover of Raygun or something like that. So cool. We just make a box over it. We click that. We go to Object, clipping mask, make, boom, done. Make it small. Move this over. And then we start to like just play with sizes. Always holding shift. For those people who don't hold shift, your hand should always be on the shift. And this is, I gotta try to get messy, hey? I think everything needs to be smaller. Let me put that there, put this here. I think I'm gonna start, let's do some more overlapping. That ollie fits in there. Huh. Yeah. We'll do that. It needs my background, which, like I said, I'll find the background. I had that set like an hour ago and I never clicked on it. I should have clicked on it. And that's where we'll start. And then I'll get the funky background and make sure we can read the text. And we'll work from there. One thing, let's talk about and just review, and then I'm going to review it again, is what to do for Thursday and then leading into the finals for this class. Is the finals coming up, but what's due on Thursday is the expansion of everything we've done. Now, we've done our designs. And we need to expand on them. Now we're taking our brand, right? Oh, I did everything in InDesign. We have our brand. And we need to carry that exact brand. And the brand started with our logo. The logo set the tone for the rest of the project. Whatever kind of like happens in that logo stays, and it carries through. If it's fun and whimsical, then we're doing fun and whimsical. If it's very hearted, we're doing hearted. And that's how we're going to work forward on these. And that's how I built out my posters. Delay. Oh, I feel like I had this problem before. Oh, I think I had this problem at home. Oh. These aren't that complicated. That's why I don't know. Let's cancel that. But as you can see from my little thumbnails, sorry, I don't think I can zoom in on those anymore. No. Everything was built around that logo that I designed, the like freehanding, the softness of it, all that. And then I took that aesthetic and I moved it forward. And that's what I did, came up with the background. I didn't like take this fun kind of handwritten thing and then do something very like structured, and I wanted this to keep flowing. So it was part of the whole process there. I want to make sure that you're doing that when you move forward with your designs. And so like this was my die cut sticker, and I went over how to create the die for a custom sticker, the correct way to do it. I did that last class. You'll have your You're going to do your tent design. You're going to do your sandwich board designs. Like here's a interesting one. If it downloads, the internet must be overloaded here at MATC. I'll just cancel that. Well, as you can see, like everything, like these spots were for pictures. This is an older version than my flyer. And then that whole aesthetic came across into my signage. And I use that whole aesthetic then for all parts of it. Oh, I didn't finish this one. Oh, I think I was working on something with that one. But make sure you keep that same design aesthetic going forward. You have your tent to do, which is the top, sides, and back. Again, once you have your poster, it's just the same pieces and just moving things around. You're not recreating anything. Same with your sandwich board, your die cut, and your t-shirt design. Just kind of keep those going. I'll go over this more on Thursday. I want to make sure we get this done because Thursday's leading into spring break, which is also leading into the final, in which you need to have your finals done, and then we're going to mock them up, just like we've done with the last assignment. So I will get to everything, and I'll check everything over early on, like probably on Friday. No, I can't do it Friday. Maybe Friday morning. I will get my comments in Friday morning to you, so you have all break. You don't even have to work over break, but when you come back from break, you'll know, like, I know what to do to set up everything, and we'll get everything done. So that's it for now. Like I said, on the way out, not at the way out, as we get to these end of the projects, the lectures get a little shorter, and then I start up again new and re-emphasizing everything again. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Please feel free to ask. Reach out to me. I'll be double checking everything later today, and then again tomorrow, and then Thursday, and making sure we're all up to date. Cool. And I'll finish my David Carson. That's bugging me. Right after this, I'm going to find out why I couldn't get David Carson image to download. So, all right. If you have any questions, please reach out. I can't answer questions that you don't ask. So please do. All right. I'll talk to you later.